Thanks for coming out to be with us this morning. Today we're going to talk about a new design for your newsfeed that we're really excited to show you. Our mission at Facebook is to make the world more open and connected. And at a personal level, what that means is that we build services that help you see and feel what's going on with the people and things that you care about. Newsfeed is one of the most important services that we build. It takes all of the things that your friends are doing and it puts them right in front of you so you can see them in one place. Now, because of the history of Newsfeed, it's easy to think about it as just a single stream of content, but our goal is actually a lot broader. What we're trying to do is give everyone in the world the best personalized newspaper we can. I bet for a moment you thought I was going to say a copy of the Monterey Daily, but that isn't what we're doing. Actually, we made this up. We believe that the best personalized newspaper should have a broad diversity of content. It should have high-quality public content from world-renowned sources, and it should also have socially and locally relevant updates from family, friends, and the people around you. It should also enable you to drill into any topic that you want to discuss, that you want to go over. So it should have a front page or top news section of the most important things that are going on across all topics, and it should let you drill down into any individual topic that you want. And we also believe that the best personalized newspaper should be visual and rich and engaging, because the stories around you are intricate and detailed, and they deserve to be displayed with more than just text. So today we're going to talk about a design that we think reflects this evolving face in order to build a foundation for the best personalized newspaper. This is an early version of Newsfeed. I think that this one is from 2007. And from the beginning, our goal with Newsfeed was different from what any other social service was trying to provide. Our view is that if you're going to contribute to this personalized newspaper, you need to be able to share any kind of content that you want. Status updates, photos, videos, links, location, pins from Pinterest if you want, not back then, but now, whatever you want. And you also need to be able to share with any audience that you want. You should be able to share publicly with everyone in the world. You should be able to share with all of your friends, a smaller group if that's what you want, or just a few friends with a message. Because the types of stories that we tell when we're communicating with a photo instead of text are completely different, and you want to be able to tell both. And the types of stories that you tell when you're communicating publicly, as opposed to just with a few people, are completely different, and you want to be able to tell both of those as well. So we think that there's a really important place for a personalized newspaper that can bring all of these things together. Now, there's no other social service like this at scale. There are a lot of other great social apps that enable you to share one kind of content or with one audience. And I think that these apps are great, but I really think that there's a special place in the world for this personalized newspaper that can really span the whole gamut and make it so that you can see all of these types of content in one place. Now, because Newsfeed supports such a broad range of content types, as the way that we all share changes, the composition of Newsfeed naturally changes as well. So, back when we were first getting started, Newsfeed was primarily made up of text. But now that we all have these cameras in our pockets with phones and we can upload photos, Newsfeed has become primarily about visual content. And as you can see, since the end of 2011, now almost 50% of the content in the average newsfeed is photos and visual content. And similarly, a lot of us think about Newsfeed as primarily about friends, right, and just seeing what your friends are up to. But again, since the end of 2011, what you can see is that the amount of content from pages and public figures who you're following publicly has increased, so that now in the average newsfeed, it's more than 25, almost 30% of the content. So how we're all sharing is changing. And the design of your newsfeed needs to reflect this evolving face of newsfeed and who you're sharing with. So of course, we all want to share with our friends and get updates from our friends, but we also want updates from our publications and businesses that we care about, and artists and world leaders. So this is the evolving face of Newsfeed and the folks that you're sharing with and want to get updates from. And that's what we want to talk about today, is a design that we think reflects this evolving face of Newsfeed. So here's where we are today. with Newsfeed on mobile and desktop. And here is the new design. This design reflects the evolving face of your newsfeed. It's designed for the way that we're all sharing today and the trends that we see going forward. And now, there are 3 things that we're going to focus on today in this design. Rich stories, visual and engaging. Your choice of different feeds, dig into any topic that you want. And a mobile-inspired, consistent UI. The same Facebook experience across all of your mobile devices and desktop as well. Now, we're really proud to show you this new design, and we're excited to get it into all of your hands and into the hands of all of the people around the world who love Facebook. And now, in order to get into some more detail on this, I'd like to hand it off to our Director of Design, Julie Zhu.
Thank you, Mark. So, this is the current state of our homepage today. And this is the section that's devoted to Newsfeed. As you can see, it's about a little less than 40% of the total real estate of the screen. And yet, when we talk to people, we hear this over and over again. This is what matters to me. These are the things that my friends are saying and sharing and doing and seeing. And the rest of it, frankly, is just clutter. So, when we synthesized all this feedback and we took a step back and we thought about how we might make Newsfeed better, it came back down to the stories. Understanding what it is that people wanted to share with the things that they were posting, and then designing the very best container to let those stories shine. Let's walk through a couple of examples. Over the weekend, some friends and I had a little get-together, and one of my friends is a really phenomenal photographer. She's always lugging around her 22-megapixel, Canon Mark III with her wherever she goes. And I always love to see the photos that she takes in my newsfeed afterwards, and yet they don't quite represent the rich, high-quality photos that she takes. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and today's design is probably more like 500. In the new Facebook redesign, we're really taking these photos and putting them front and center so that they're more visual, more beautiful, and more immersive, so that you can get a sense of the experiences that your friends are sharing from the moments that they capture throughout their daily lives. And this isn't just for individual photos. We're also giving the photo albums that you share a major facelift, so that if a friend of mine goes to China and she takes these amazing photos, I can see them, and instantly they tell me the story of her adventures there. My friend Chris Struhar loves to share these articles, these little gems that he finds all around the internet. In the new design, we want these attachments and articles to really shine. This starts to resemble something more like what you might see from the table of contents of a well-curated magazine. We've got a much larger image, a more prominent title, and a longer summary that tells you what this article is about. We're also starting to add the logo of the publishers in the corner so that when I see something like this, I can instantly know what it is and click and read the whole article if I want to. Toon is a designer that just recently joined the Facebook design team. And so a week ago, I saw that a bunch of my friends were becoming friends with him. Now, when I see something like this, what I really want is to get a sense of who is this person and do I know them? Luckily, we've got a product for that. It's their timeline. And a lot of people spend time curating their timeline to best reflect who they are. So, in the new design, we're bringing the elements of that timeline into the story. Right away, I get a much bigger profile picture of Toon. I can get a sense of who he is from the cover photo that he's chosen. I can see the friends that we have in common. And if I do happen to know him, there's an easy way for me to add him as a friend. And this type of new expressive story isn't just for people. It works really well for pages and brands and businesses. A lot of my friends, every so often I'll see a story like this and know that they've capitulated to the deliciousness that is spooky sushi. our on-site restaurant. And every time I see this gleaming, luscious platter of fish, it gets pretty hard not to go there for lunch. So let's say you and your friends are somewhere really, really awesome, like you're frolicking in the waterfall, natural beauty of Yosemite National Park. When you see something like this, you might not even be able to tell that your friend's somewhere cool. In the new design, we're giving places the prominence that they deserve, with a map that tells you where they are and a description that lets you dive in and explore that place further if you want to. Because if you're really going to go out of your way and check in and say, I'm at a bar, or I'm checking out this new restaurant in the Mission, or I'm standing on top of the Eiffel Tower, you want to make sure that your friends don't miss that. Now, a lot of the sharing that happens on Facebook comes from third-party apps as well. I'm a really big Pinterest user. I use it to curate my collection of nerdy type posters and get inspiration for my living room decor. And Pinterest is such a visual site. You know, it's all about the images, these beautiful things that people have found and collected from all over the web. In our new design, we're giving these images and these rich visuals a lot more prominence, so that what you see on Facebook better reflects the experience that you'll get on Pinterest. And we're doing this for all types of third-party content. So no matter whether you're sharing an image or a photo or text or a combination of the two, the thing that you'll see will be more reflective of that content that you're sharing. Now for one of my favorite experiences on Facebook. When I wake up in the morning and I see that literally all of my friends are sharing the exact same article or the exact same video, I know that it's something good. Can't miss it. In the new design, we're really calling out these things so that they're front and foremost. And I can see this video and instantly play it in my newsfeed. I can also see on the left-hand side the faces of all of my friends that have shared this particular piece of content. And if I take my mouse and I hover over their faces, I'll be able to see exactly what they said about that video, as well as all of the conversations that are springing up around it. So these are a couple of examples of the things that you'll share and the things that you'll see your friends sharing. But what you might also see in your newsfeed are things that are custom tailored to you and the interests that you have. For example, let's say it's Friday, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with my weekend. I might see something like this that tells me about upcoming events. And these are based on what my friends are doing, as well as places and events I've checked into in the past. Or, say you're like me and you listen to NPR every morning on your way to work. Wouldn't it be really awesome to get the highlight of the best that NPR has? Facebook is one of the few services in the world that can know this, because we know all of the articles that people are sharing about the NPR throughout the world. And so at the end of each day, we can show you a nicely packaged story that tells you about the most shared articles so that you can discover new content. Now, I'm a big fan of Taylor Swift, not afraid to admit it. And while I love to see posts from her in my newsfeed, what I also want to see is articles about her. For example, what she wore to that last awards show, or which ex-boyfriend that new single is about. And maybe you don't like Taylor, but there's other things that you like the Giants or the 49ers or Christopher Nolan movies. Depending on the things that you've liked on Facebook in the past, you'll see articles, recent trending things about those public figures and these topics that you care about. So, you take all of these stories and you put them together, and what do you get? You get this: a richer, simpler, more beautiful newsfeed on both desktop web and on mobile that's focused on the things that you care about, what your friends are saying, what your network is sharing, and what's going on with the people and pages that you care about. I'm really excited to be able to bring these new designs to you starting today. But that's not all. And now I want to pass it over to Chris Struhar, our tech lead of Newsfeed, to tell you more about your choice of feeds. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Hey everyone, I'm Struhar, and I'm going to walk you through some of the new feeds that we're adding to give people more choice in the stories that they see. So we've really spent a lot of time over the past year going out and talking to the people that use Newsfeed every day to communicate with the people that they care about. And we tried to understand what we could do to make their experience with the product better. And we really heard from people that they wanted more choice and more control over the stories that they were seeing on their homepage. So Newsfeed today shows what my friends are sharing, what my pages are posting, what my friends are liking, and what my friends are posting. But we only show a surface level of each of these things. And sometimes I want to see every event that my friends are going to, or every photo that my friends are uploading, or all the music that my friends are listening to. These are just 3 of many different feeds of information that are flowing through Facebook every second. And now you have more control over which of these feeds you see on your homepage. And just like a newspaper, when you want to see every sports story and you jump to the sports section, you can jump to any of these different feeds using the switcher at the top right of the page. Or if I'm on mobile, I can pull down the top of the page and see the exact same list of feeds there. So let's jump into the All Friends feed. One of the most consistent requests that we hear from people is to see all of the posts from their friends in one place. So now, I can come to my All Friends feed, and I can see every single post from every one of my friends in chronological order to make sure that I'm not missing anything that my friends are doing on Facebook. Or maybe I really like music. We've revamped the music feed to show what my favorite musicians are posting, as well as what my friends are listening to. And we'll also show concerts that are happening around me, or albums that have been released recently. So for example, I'm a huge Justin Timberlake fan, and now I can come to my music feed and see this awesome photo of Justin getting ready for the Grammys. I can see what concerts he has happening around me, and I can see if he's coming out with any new albums soon. Music is something that really resonates with all of us, and it's something that we see people engaging with a lot on Facebook, so we're really excited to get this feed out in front of people. I also have a photos feed that shows me every single photo that my friends and my pages are posting. So photos have become a really big part of your experience on Facebook, as we're all carrying around a tiny camera in our pockets, and we're taking pictures of everything that we see, and we're posting that back to Facebook and to Instagram. Now, you have a space where you can come, and you can see the world around you as your friends are seeing it right now, and as your friends are experiencing it right now. So we've tried different versions of a photos feed in the past, but we've never had a design that's as vibrant and as immersive as what you see today. And I also have a following feed. Another really common request that we hear from people is to be able to see all of the posts from their pages and the public figures they like in one place. So now, just like you have a friends feed where you can come and you can see every post from your friends, you also have a following feed where you can come and you can see every single post from the pages and the public figures that you like. So I can like my favorite news sources, local businesses, or sports teams, and make sure that I'm seeing the best articles from The Guardian or the latest scores from the San Francisco Giants. We're also trying something new with this feed, and we're putting it in chronological order to make sure that content publishers know that their fans can see every single post that they make. And just to call out a few of the other feeds that we're adding, we're revamping the most recent feed to show you every single action from all of the friends that you have and all of the pages that you like, for those moments when you really want to make sure that you're staying up to date on everything that's happening on Facebook. You have the same close friends feed that you have today to keep up to date on what your best friends are doing, and you have the same games feed to stay up to date on the activity and the games that you like to play with your friends. If you have any friend lists or interest lists, those will also show up here, and all of these feeds are sorted according to how much you use them. So if I really like music, and I come to my music feed every day, that feed will be right up at the top of the list, so it's easy to get to every time I come to Facebook. And finally, all of these feeds are available on both desktop and our different mobile interfaces, so that you have access to the exact same stories wherever you go. And on that note, I'm going to hand it off to Chris Cox to talk more about consistency between our different interfaces.
All right, so you guys have heard us say a lot today. The story we're trying to adhere to here is really about getting Facebook out of the way as much as possible. And on the web, that really meant trying to push the content into the front of the experience and pull back the Chrome around it as much as possible. And one of the cool tools we had while developing this was actually taking the mobile designs we've been working on over the last 2 to 3 years and porting them over. Because having a small screen forces you to really simplify and narrow down a very direct and immersive experience. A lot of what you're seeing here for the first time is a very mobile-inspired web design. You know, the designer's dream is that you can lay out all of the different devices that Facebook exists on and see across all of them that they're made of the same material. And that's down to the little details like typeface and color and the boxes around the stories. But it's also bigger things like navigation. So the tablet and the phone navigation haven't changed too much, but if you look at the PC, you'll see that we've grabbed the same physical model and visual model for how you get around Facebook, which is this gray tray that sits underneath the white page of content. And beyond being the same and consistent, which is awesome for the system person in you, there's a couple nice things that come along with it. The first is that it's truly global navigation. So now you can get from any page on Facebook to any other page on Facebook without passing through the home page. If you're a bubble clearing type that likes to go through your queue of bubbles and clear them out one at a time, you'll find that this makes it easier to do that without navigating back and forth to the home page. The second thing that comes along with it is it's a little bit more responsive to the size of the viewport in the browser. Right now, 35% of our users on the web don't have access to the chat sidebar because their viewport's not wide enough. This new design means that those people will have a tray which lets them easily see who's online and chat with those people. So you might, after this rolls out, start seeing a few messages from people on old PCs you haven't heard from in a while. It's also just nice and consistent, which we feel is a huge benefit for developers and publishers, so they can think about how their assets are going to look the same across all of the different screens. And it's also nice for users so that when they're picking up a new device or interface for the first time, they're not relearning the whole experience, but they're actually seeing the consistency and material similarity of these things across the devices. Feeds, you'll notice, will look and feel the same wherever you are. But in the prototypes, I've actually found myself on the phone because I have more frequent and shorter sessions. I tend to check on things like close friends so that I can know that I'm not missing anything important. But then on the tablet or the PC, you're often spending more time with Facebook for a longer duration, and you'll find yourself going into some more of the feeds and exploring kind of a longer session. One of the cool things about these feeds is that they just support different amounts of time that you want to invest in Facebook so that you can get the most out of it. And there's also just a lot of little details we brought along with us from the phone to the PC. So this little new stories bubble is something that people really like. It lets you stay in your feed, but you know that the feed's still alive so that you can go quickly to the new content but not have what you're looking at scroll off the page. So this is the kind of thing, along with 1,000 other things, that we've brought over to the web experience. And it's amazing how much more modern and clean this feels just because we've adapted a lot of the design principles from the phone and the tablet and brought them over to the web. So I just want to say, on all three of these principles we talked about today, the first is a richer story design, the second is different cuts at your feed, and the third is really a consistent, same material experience across all of the different platforms that we're on. These are really just steps in a direction that we're trying to move in general. And you can imagine with each of these actually kind of playing forward where we're going to go from here, but we really wanted to get this out and in people's hands as soon as possible so that we could start learning what was working and what was not working and take that feedback into account. So we're going to start rolling this out on the web today. And we're going to start, you're going to start seeing these designs show up on your phone and your tablet over the next few weeks. Because this is a big change on the web, we're going to be very, very careful and slow about how we roll it out. So what we're likely to see over the next period of time is a small amount of people moving into the experience, us getting a lot of feedback and collecting what's working and what's not, and then as soon as we've got it to a super polished and good place, we'll be rolling it out more broadly. We're really, really excited about these designs and this new version of Feed. We've been working on it for a long time, and it's a huge step in the direction that we talk about a lot on the team of being a medium, which means that fundamentally we're a container for the content that other people create. And that content, as much of a good of a job as we can do of honoring that content and of building a predictable, simple, beautiful, and powerful experience for letting people both publish and get at the content that's being sent to them, the better of a job we're doing at providing what we hope is exactly what people want and expect from Facebook. So thank you guys for coming here today. We really appreciate you being here.